And welcome back to The Average White Guys. My name's Alex Haynes, one of the owners of A Squared. We're a marketing consulting company that helps people get noticed online and offers online coaching and training as well as done-for-you services. And I'm here with the one, the only, chiseled ivory statue man of himself that somehow is bearded yet almost glowing with the essence of life. That's right, Justin Scouten of LLW. Say hi, Justin.
Hey, everybody. I'm Justin with LLW Properties. And you should actually see how good I look after I trim up my beard.
Oh, baby.
So tonight we are going to be talking about sticking with the plans and not your feelings.
Oh, that's probably a good topic to talk about. I mean, how many times have we had a discussion where you have said to me, Alex, you're in your feelings. Just stick to the plan.
Too many.
Too many. So this is a great conversation to have. And I think it's good for businesses, honestly. Yes. So what does it mean? What does it mean to stick with a plan and not your feelings? Can help our business owners really understand what we're talking about today.
There's too many times in life that our feelings get in the way instead of looking at that goal and writing down what your plans are. Sometimes you don't even have to write them down. They're just thinking of a good plan of attack on how you're going to accomplish things. And if we don't write those plans down, we don't stick with those plans or come up with some kind of game plan, we're going to veer off because our feelings are going to get in the way.
Our feelings could keep us from actually doing the things we want to do. This has never, ever happened to me.
Well, sometimes it can be laziness.
He says, lying through his teeth. No, I can totally understand this. Here's a great example. And we were talking a little bit before this podcast that I thought I had a plan. My plan was I want to make $1 million. My plan was then I just needed to go make more sales. And then feelings would kick in because I didn't make $1 million sale and therefore I somehow failed. There was no real plan. There was just feelings and it was me punching in the dark. Well, now I actually have a plan. I have a system and we actually have a path to make that budget. We have a plan to actually hit that number. And the crazy thing is it's working because we stuck to the plan.
Can you tell me one or two things in that plan that has now started to accomplish that?
Oh, yeah. So when we first started, as you know, we're now a consulting company. A while back, we were just a production company. But I said consulting first, so I don't have to do stairs for anyone who's listened. There's a whole thing in an ongoing bet. If I don't say we're a consulting company, I got to go walk up and down a bunch of stairs until I realize my lesson. So because I made sure I got it right, I don't have that penalty. But one of the things we did when we started becoming a consulting company, my business partner said, hey, I need you, one, to commit to this, and then I need you to follow this plan. And one of the plans was I need you to use the system we bought every morning. First thing you do is open it. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to make content. Every day I want you to work a little piece of content and get used to creating this. And third, every time you give someone advice, I need you to charge them. Three rules I had. I have followed two of them really well. And I've gotten better at the third one. And if you know me, you can probably guess the one I struggle with the most.
Sorry, say it again.
3 rules. Make content, open the platform and use it every morning, and then charge people every time I give advice.
I know it wasn't the third one.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. It's definitely the third one I struggle with. But recently, I started doing it. And guess what I saw?
Success.
Yes, I did. And even before we saw success, here's the crazy thing. For 6 months, I did the thing I was supposed to do. I committed to it, and I saw nothing. I opened the app. I did the thing I was supposed to do. I worked on making content. I put it in our online program. I did the thing I'm supposed to do, and I saw nothing for 6 months. And for whatever reason, this time around, because I believed in it and I followed the plan, we are now seeing success. We now are seeing people buy it. We get people excited about it. We just released a new product that people just cannot say no to, and it's one of the most expensive things I ever put out. They love it. The feedback I'm getting is amazing, and that is all because I followed the plan.
Part of the reason I wanted to talk about this was sometimes it's hard to figure out what your plan is. And I think that's where the feelings got into this conversation with me. I have been wanting to do something for the last 3 or 4 years in my business to where we go ahead and we develop something to where it's a system where if I bring in a new assistant, Can that assistant basically handle this thing that almost a manager can handle because the system is so simple with it? And I've been trying to analyze this and work it in for about 3 years. And I've been trying different little steps. But over the last 6 months, I've actually came up with my game plan of how I'm going to implement this and do this. And once I started hitting that stride, it has been just coming into fruition so easily that that's also why I brought this into this. My feelings were kind of like, I know what I needed to do. I know I wanted to, this would help the business. But until I put that plan into place, I was not accomplishing it. And so I think that's why I wanted to make sure that I was talking about this today. We look at these lofty dreams and we don't hit those until we actually stick to the plans, write it down, and figure out how we're going to analyze that plan.
It reminds me when we're talking about this of the example of a farmer, right? A farmer will go out to an empty field. He will till the ground until there's nothing left to till. He'll plant a seed and care and water it and wait and wait and then wait some more. And until it's the perfect time, he won't harvest it. And this is the crazy thing with businesses. We get ahead of ourselves. We try to harvesting plants before there's any fruit or vegetables to pull off that thing, right? As business owners, we don't think like farmers. We don't take the time and wait and do the thing we need to do to get the results. We will always want to figure out how to speed it up or how to skip a step or get to that end result where we're enjoying that big old pile of corn on our plate or whatever it is, right? That a farmer is going to have without actually putting to practice what a farmer does.
What's the fruits of our labor?
100%. 100%. So let's talk about this as business owners. Where have you succeeded or where have you failed?
Not having the plan and having employees, you can have a big failure there because you need to be able to share what your plan is with the employees so they can buy in. And so if you don't have the plan and you don't know what you want to do, how are you going to sell this to your employees to make sure that they are understanding that this is best for the company? And not only best for the company, why is it the best for the company? Because it's best for them as well. And I think that's why when you have those plans into place and you can share that and you get the buy-in, now everybody can understand why it's going to be beneficial for everybody. And they can also see, if they're hopefully buying into your company, why it's going to be beneficial for your clients as well.
Yeah, I could totally see that's huge for businesses. I'm going to touch on a different point because I think this also goes into plans, not feelings. A lot of times sales will have big lofty goals. We want to do $1 million. Go out and sell. That's the plan. Go and sell. That's not a plan. You haven't talked about ideal client profiles. You haven't talked about the scripts you need to write and the calls you need to do and the actual things you have to do to accomplish that goal.
And I think we brought this up at the beginning. That's a goal.
Yep.
Not the actual plan.
The actual plan. So this is where I think business owners, if you have a goal, make sure you actually have a plan and then do that plan. If you don't have a plan, you don't know how to come up with a plan, go buy one. You can go hire people and buy plans. Go copy other people's plans. You do not have to come up with the plan yourself. There are even AI programs out there that will help you figure out a plan and break up these goals into actionable steps. Because at the end of the day, a plan has to be worked. It's not an idea, it's an action plan.
And the bigger thing I would say is one way or another, you have to write it down somehow. Whether you are old school and you just literally want to write it down, whether you want to dictate it into some kind of app, or you actually want to go into Word and you want to type it up that way. You have to have the plan, share it with everybody, and make sure you are implementing it.
Absolutely. I think that's huge. So to our business owners, the things we talked about today, just kind of a reminder as we go into our final point. We talked about the fact that you should definitely have a plan, double down on that plan, and don't let your feelings distract you. We talked about how you need to let that plan mature like a farmer would with your plans. And also some of the successes we have and some of the failures we've had, like the sales. That was a failure of mine. And now that we actually have a plan, we're actually seeing success. So what's the last thing you want to share, Justin, with our business owners? The biggest takeaway they can, the number one thing they should do, that one thing they should do.
I think what we found as doing these podcasts, becoming closer friends, and working together as businesses is sharing that information. I think sharing it makes sure you are sticking to it. You are putting it out there in the world, and you're holding yourself accountable by putting it out there. And so if you can stick to the plan by sharing it, I think it's going to make it that much easier for you.
Absolutely. Networking, accountability partners, accountability buddies, as we would sometimes call them, having a business partner, sharing that vision, but also the plan and the steps. And then having that other person remind you, hey, just follow the plan. Stay out of your feelings. Just follow the plan. I think that's huge for our business owners. Well, I hoped this little short podcast was super valuable, that you got a nugget. And if you needed the reminder, I'd love for you to see it. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a comment, because we are hoping that this is really good for you, that you got something out of this, that you understood that a plan needs to be followed. It needs to be taken time to nurture and grow. And then, and only then, when you've actually followed that plan all the way through and given enough time, will you reap those rewards. Any last thoughts, Justin?
I think you wrapped it up well enough. Thanks.
Great. Well, until next time, we are
The Average White Guys.